Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. We're checking the laundromat money in the coin box to see how much is there, which could give us an indication on what will be in the machine, so we'll of course count those. Now this was actually from Monday, after the weekend, when I usually collect the most money. So there's a fair amount in there. I don't think it's a record. I don't think there's as much as last week, because last week we just destroyed all our sales records. Had $1,003 in here just over the weekend, but there's still a good amount in there. So we're going to count money in the machines. We've got a number of problems and issues at the laundromat too we'll talk about, and we'll even show you how my son is trying to make more money and lots of other things. Now, another really good problem I have is this was Monday too, because I now have to empty these twice a week or they get so full they jam up and the machines stop working. So awesome problem to have, and we'll see how full they are on Friday as well, and then count all that money, see what we've got, show you our sales chart, and everything else going on here. So again, a good amount of money in there, but it wasn't as good as last week, which was just crazy good. So I've been trying to teach my kids about money and investing. I bought them a couple of washers and dryers. Well, actually, they bought them for me, so they could learn about buying machines and making money from them and different things. And so one of the things my son's been wanting to do is make more money. And yes, he's gotten huge as he's grown 5 inches in the last year. But he wanted to come and work at the laundromat and make some money. So I was showing him how to restock this, which is a little trickier than it looks with one hand. I'm like, maybe I don't want to do that. I don't want to smash his hand. But we got it out once I put the camera down. Had him restock that, kind of showed him how it works. And I had him do some other work in here as well. And I even told him, hey, if you can get these donut vending things to work better, you'll get a bonus. And it turns out, even though they weren't working last week, they just started working fine. So one reason I came here is I had a call over the weekend of a flood. I'm like, great, what's going on? It wasn't anything serious. The person had just loaded too much soap in there and it overflowed, but it made a mess. Now we did have a couple of dryers that have been having some issues here with their drain. And so I stuck him back there, had him go unplug the drain because I didn't want to do it, and he got some money from that too. But it was pretty disgusting and not very pretty down there. As far as problems with the laundromat, well, one, I show up and the red light's on. The change machine isn't working right. We'll check that out. And my cleaner quit, kind of. We'll talk about that. And we've had some broken machines, but we were able to fix a machine too. Looks like we might have some drama at the apartments, or maybe a car accident. Who knows? But always excitement at the laundromat. We'll see what's going on with the change machine. It had the out of order light on the outside, and there's a chance I just didn't reset it. Because every time I take cash out, I have to reset the one side, this side, turn it off and on. But there's definitely quarters gone from when it was all the way full, so maybe there's something in there. Nobody's texted me or called me. Not much money in there, a little bit. I don't see anything wrong. All right, we'll have to check that out. This is just a couple of days. I don't think we're gonna have as much money in here as last week, that's for sure. That's okay, not great. I think I was able to fix it already. So it was a very, very difficult fix we'll talk about here in a second. Oh, it took my $10, thank you. Someone had said that the change machine shorted them $2 too. And that's a tricky one. You know, it's like, well, how do I know for sure that happened? How do you check that out? So we fixed it, and you would never guess how I fixed it. There's a reset button right there. I held it down, and it started working. It's so crazy how so much stuff just is fixed by simply turning the power on and off or resetting something. Apparently, the repairman gig isn't really that difficult. No, it's serious stuff. It can be difficult, but there's a lot of really easy stuff. Now, something else. One of my favorite things in the world to do is that. To take an out of order sign off a machine. We'll show you how we were able to do that and why I had it there before. Really, the machine was working fine, what happened was one of these red hoses was just leaking like crazy and wasting a ton of water. So I simply took one of the hoses from one of our spare machines in my shop, stuck it on there, turned on the water, voila, fixed. Alright, again, easy stuff. Here's the vending machine that my son stocked. We're checking it out now, a few days later, to see what's going on. People love those white donuts. Those are almost gone. I think they were almost full. So glad I got those working again. And not bad, I can see gold coins in there again. Somebody loves to bring us the gold. I mean, I don't think they're real gold, but the goldish dollar coins. So we'll count that in a second. The soap machine is a little bit down. Not last week was crazy. There was so much stuff gone. So there should be some money in here, not like last week, but that's not bad. That could be worse. There's another account I see on TikTok once in a while, Laundromat Money or something like that. And they show their vending and soap machine. And every time I see it, they let it get empty. Like it's almost all the way empty. I'm like, why would you do that? Now people can't get your soap. And the vending machine was like all the way empty again. Why would you do that? And when they're, I don't know what that was, some weird karaoke bar thing? I don't know. But on their washing machines, they'll be totally full of quarters to the point where they don't work. I'm like, why are you doing that? So I guess it's all for show and to make money on TikTok and YouTube. But man, I would want to take care of my customers first. So this is a pop machine, and it seems to be working fine, which is cool. Last week it stopped working for a little bit. Not a ton. That's about how it normally is. And then here we have our coin machine. So we're going to count the pop machine, soap, and vending real quick. And then, of course, we'll check the machines to see how much is in them, the washers and dryers. So that is the pop, which is not horrible. It's more than $10, which is, you know, not amazing, but okay. Those were a couple more quarters in there that the machine spit out, and then some nickels and dimes too. So that's what all that was. We'll check the vending, and I always try and pick out my gold coins first so that they don't jam up my change machine, because we all know my change machine has enough problems as it is, or the change counter, whatever you want to call it. And I peek at quarters once in a while to see if there are cool ones, but I don't go through all of them. Some people tell me, oh, you need to go through all your quarters to find silver. That would take forever. Last week, you know, we would have had almost 8,000 quarters or something. Now, a lot of those quarters are recycled. It's the same quarters used over and over again because, and that wasn't bad for the soap machine either, or the vending machine, sorry. Add $4 to that. But people, you know, put dollars, 20s in the change machine. They get quarters out. They put them in the machines. We collect those quarters. We count them. We put it back in the change machine. People put dollars in. So most of the quarters in the laundromat are just recycled, used over and over again, not new quarters. And that's at 126 before my change counter freaked out again. I don't know why it freaked out so early. But again, not bad. Not bad for soap. Not amazing. All right, now the fun part, counting quarters. Now, I was really worried we were going to have a bad week this week because, and it started out good. That was a good sign. My cleaner quit. So my cleaning lady, who was doing, cleaning pretty much 3 times a week, she didn't really quit. She hurt her back. So she hurt her back doing another job, not for me. But she did a ton of laundry in our laundromat as well. That's why it worked out so well for her to clean, because she could do a bunch of laundry, then clean in between loads. But she hasn't been able to clean for at least 2 weeks now. So the laundromat is definitely not as clean as it was, because it's been kind of me and Nikki and my kids a little bit doing it until we find someone else. But we've been trying to keep it, presentable and not horrible, and mopping and cleaning up trash and stuff. Probably one of the worst things is the lint traps get so full here at this one. You've really got to stay on it. That's a really good box too. So back to my original point, I had not seen many people on the cameras. The lady who cleans was not in there hardly at all because her back was hurt. I know she spends a ton of money there as well. On top of helping us clean, she does a ton of laundry there. And I was in there a few times, and there's literally nobody there. So I was like, oof. is this going to be a really bad week? And then looking at money in the change machine, like we did earlier, we had 700 and some over the weekend, another almost 600 during the week. So $1,311 in the change machine, whereas last week we had like 1,900. So but last week was also a massive record. So I was worried that we might regress and have a really bad week. But so far on these machines, it's looking pretty decent. We're not going to have as much as last week. I know that. Last week was crazy. But it's not looking bad at all. So that's good to see. And there were at least 3 different people in there doing laundry while I was doing this. So again, I could not do my voiceover, which I haven't been able to do for a long time in this laundromat. I can do it in my other one, my small laundromat in Kersey, because very few people go there. And I apologize for my finger sneaking into the view there a little bit. Again, these are good boxes too. So I was pleasantly surprised to see how much was in the washers. Definitely not a tiny amount, so that's good. And then while I was doing this and counting, more people just kept showing up. So that was cool to see. Hopefully this weekend is really good too. And the lady who was doing the cleaning is actually back doing laundry again. She just can't clean anymore. And so we're trying to find someone now. The thing is, you only need like, I mean, we're paying like, you know, she was paying like maybe 10 hours a week. So it's not a huge, long job, you know, not a ton of hours. So we've put some signs up, and a few people have texted me about it, but then once I tell them what the hours are, they haven't texted me back. So, and that machine's actually out of order, and people are still trying to use it, even though it says out of order right there. So I went and put an out of order sign on it as well, so people would stop wasting money on the machine. And yeah, we'll see if we get a new cleaner. I mean, we have to get a new one, but hopefully we get a new one here soon. That would be great. And then we still have some things we want to do in this laundromat as well. As far as we've got some machines that still need to be repaired. We want to move one of the machines still. That's why, you know, if you watched my other small laundromat video, I was getting a little bit frustrated with our time frames and people who work for me being pretty slow on this stuff. There's a lot of stuff to do, and it isn't getting done. And so I'm kind of worried about how long it's going to take to get all this stuff done. And that's a good box too. These are the front ones. These are the ones that always have the most money. These are the ones that have to empty twice. So I want to move one of the other ones I was just talking about, this same size right here, to the front, to the left of that other one. And I think that will help sales and help all kinds of things. But we have so many other things backed up. It's like, well, when's that going to be done? And here is the final box for the washers. This one is our biggest machine. It's a 60-pound washer, and that's awesome. Again, not as good as last week, but that's a full bucket. I'm really happy with that bucket based on what I thought was going to happen. Now, of course, we have the dryers. And I try to show customers, I've said that before, but, you know, I was weaving in between people this whole time. And people always tell me, oh, you need to be careful. You're going to get robbed. You need to do this at night with the doors locked. And honestly, well, one, we have a security guard who wanders around the complex. And so that's cool. 2, the DMV is right next door with tons of people. So there's people around all the time. 3, oh yeah, that's our out of order machine. 3, there's a fire station literally across the street. So that's nice to have there. I mean, they're not the police or anything, but definitely I think that's a deterrent for crime. And 4, I like doing it during the day when there's lots of people around, because honestly, if you're a thief or crook, you're probably less likely to do something when people are around as opposed to late at night when I'm the only one there. So I feel totally comfortable doing it when people are there, and they kind of like watching me do it too, I think, because I've gotten to know some of the people in Laundromat and regulars, and they're super nice and friendly. And so, yeah, it's not something I worry about too much. And I mean, maybe I should, but I see other laundromat videos and TikToks and YouTubes and stuff, and they're all doing it during the day with people in there too. So I don't think it's a big issue. And really, I mean, if you're going to risk robbing someone, there's easier places to do it at than trying to steal a bucket full of quarters, which probably weighs, 80 pounds or something. Maybe it weighs 50 pounds, and when you pick it up with the handle, it's going to snap and break and spread quarters everywhere. And then, you know, what are you going to do with those quarters, right? You go take those quarters to the bank. That's a pretty easy way to get caught. So, yeah, there's just I know laundromats still get broken into. I know it still happens. Usually it's someone breaking in at night, trying to drill through boxes, and it causes way more damage than they probably even get out of it. And they realize, why did I do that? And then most of the people get caught. And I've talked to a number of people who've had laundromats broken into. Their cameras caught them. They caught the people. They prosecuted them. And a few of them are even still paying back their debt. So, yeah, it's not an easy mark. It's not a super lucrative, you know, thing to do. But that doesn't mean people won't do it. So, yeah, try to be careful. But I'm also not like... I think it's better to do it during the day with people there, honestly, than at night when nobody's there. So here is the washer money. And we're doing this one first because I messed up the dryer video. And I thought it was recording and it wasn't, but we still have the total. We'll show you the total. But for the washers, the record was definitely last week. And the record was, let me get it out here. I've got my record. Hold up my thing. We had $1,381 from just the washers last week, which obliterated our old record. Our old record was 1,014. So that's 5,500 quarters from last week. Usually we have about just under 4,000 quarters is what I have been seeing. So last week was crazy, like I said. And I was worried this would be a real downer, but I could tell there was a lot of money in my bucket. And as I was going through it, I'm like, huh, we might do really good here. We might, in fact, have the second highest week if things keep going well. No guarantees, but yeah, it was looking pretty good. And my coin changer stops sometimes at 2,400 coins for some reason and resets and throws an error code. So what I do is I go to 2,000 and I stop it, reset it, so it doesn't do that. Although, as you saw, on the soap machine or whatever earlier, it did that crazy thing. At like 126 quarters, so we're not going to stop at every 100 quarters, that's for sure. And, exactly 2,000, look at that, skills. So then we'll reset it, go back to 0, start it up again. Something else that's been going on with the laundromat, you know, I've talked about the expenses a little bit. Part of it, as we're getting busier and people are using it more, my break-even point is going up. So while sales go up, so do my expenses because our utilities are getting higher. So I'll try and do a video here soon showing what all the expenses are. My rent is $2,900 a month, but that includes water. So I don't have extra water costs, which is awesome. But I do have electric and gas. And so my electric and gas were like $1,000 last month. And that's way more than it was in the beginning, obviously, because we're using stuff way more. So I was saying for a long time my break-even's about $4,000 a month, but it's probably a little higher than that now, unless I just keep cleaning it myself, which I'm not going to do because we have to pay the cleaner a little bit. You know, we got insurance, some other fees, internet, things like that. So we're a little, I'm not sure exactly what we're at, but we're definitely over 4,000. So it'd be really nice to have weeks like last week every week and get that going. There are other ways, you know, we can try to increase revenue too. I still think I could definitely raise prices on my machines. We charge 7 minutes for a quarter on the dryers. No, 8 minutes for a quarter, which is really cheap. Our washers are really cheap, but we're trying to kind of build up business and build up our reputation again as a good laundromat before I did that. And I don't want to just price gouge people, but we probably do need to raise them a little bit, especially with utilities that keep going up and everything else that keeps going up. They're pretty much just real similar to what the prices were when this laundromat was opened before with a different owner, and those were pretty low too. And then ironically, you know, we bought a bunch of machines from another laundromat that went out of business in Louisville, Colorado, and their prices were really low too, probably even lower than mine. It's like, well, that could be why they went out of business, because their prices were too low, and with rent and utilities and everything, they probably couldn't afford everything because their prices were too low. All right, so we're getting closer here. I'm really hoping I get over 4,000. And that is over 4,000, which is cool. Awesome to see. And then there's some other random quarters that it spit out because it didn't like, and I think there were 4 more of those. So it ended up being a good week. Definitely not record setting, but a really decent week. And of course, I mentioned the dryer money was $12.92. And getting over 300, I feel like, is a good mark for me. And 300 is 1,200 quarters. So that was good to see as well. Like I said, I forgot the whole counting video. Now here is our sales chart. So we can see how we've progressed since December when I opened it up again. We took it over in September. Again, for those of you who don't know the story, I had my small laundromat in Kersey, trying to make it better, really not knowing what I was doing. And my brother-in-law had said, well, I know of some machines that might be for sale. Do you want to go check them out? I went to check them out at this laundromat because they're going to take this laundromat and turn it into an office. And they're going to just liquidate everything, clear all the plumbing out, all the stuff they put in. And I was like, don't do that, rent it to me. And we came up with an agreement. I rented the place. Again, sort of knowing what I'm doing, but not really knowing what I'm doing. Then an opportunity came up to buy a bunch of machines from another laundromat, which I did, which was really smart and an amazing deal. I didn't even know how good of a deal it was at the time, but I thought it was a good deal. For $20,000, I got a 60-pound washer, 3 50-pound washers, a 40-pound washer, I think a 30-pounder, and then 12 Horizons, and like 8 stackable dryers, and some other front loaders. But they all had money in the coin boxes too, so we had $1,000 in extra coins, so that's really cool to see. But there, you can see how we did. Total was $1,411, which was, again, almost our second best, but I think it ended up being our third best week ever. The week before the record was $1,320. The week before that was $1,418, and we had a $1,419. So talk about consistency. That is, this place has been extremely consistent lately, except for, of course, the crazy last week. But yeah, looking at our sales chart, things are trending up again. That's really good to see. I have a really good feeling about this next week. We'll see how that goes. And hopefully we just keep trending up and up and up because, like I said, our expenses keep going up and up, up too. I've said I want to, change prices at some point in the future. I think I'm getting to that point now. It's just going to take some time to learn how to change all the prices for the washers and just to program the dryers. I know how to do that. It really shouldn't be too hard, but I can do that. And then I mentioned, too, some other issues we had besides the cleaning lady, besides the change machine not working, besides some drains getting clogged and different things. Well, we have 3 dryers down now. One dryer we've had down for a while because we think it's some kind of heating element, some kind of issue. We had a couple other dryers down because of bad belts. We fixed those. Those got up and running again. Well, we have another dryer down, I think, because a blower motor is going out. It's super noisy and not heating all the time. And then we just had a motherboard that might have gone out on another dryer. It's just showing 99 cents. I can't program it. I can't get into it. I can't do anything. So I should have some backup boards I can try to use from some of our other machines. And then hopefully that'll fix that. But the other ones are slightly larger repairs. And like I've said before, I don't want to bring in the laundromat repair guys because they're so expensive. They'd eat into our profits for like a month. And then hopefully my dream has been to have some of our guys be able to work on these more and repair them. And they've done a decent job on some stuff and not so much on other stuff. So hopefully we can keep improving that, but that's the goal. So at least most of the stuff is up and running, and it's fairly clean. It's had a good week, and had an amazing week last week. So if we can keep this trend up, it's a good, fun business, especially if there's a cleaning lady and I'm not doing it, because I don't want to clean a laundromat for the rest of my life, that's for sure. But it'll be a nice kind of supplemental business. Hopefully the other laundromat starts doing better with the improvements we're making there. And the liquor store and Mini Mart have been doing awesome with very little work for me at all, so that's good to see. And, at some point, maybe we have someone who manages these and does other stuff with them. But it's still fun for me to collect quarters and do that part of it too. So, love to hear what you think. Of course, we'll have updates on this as we move along and make things better and hopefully not worse. And we'll keep counting quarters. All right, be back soon.